In this video we'll showcase the Ball Lightning and Fireball build in a level 82 Breach and Simulacrum. Oh wait. Nice one. Well thanks GGG, let's try that again. When doing breaches, we try to keep our flame wall active as often as possible, although if your gems are high level it may be unnecessary, as these mobs, even at their highest level of 82, stand no match against any gem, socket into barrier invocation. You may have noticed there has been some changes made, of which there has only been a few, particularly to our energy shield, which may seem low, but don't worry, this is more than enough to protect ourselves against one-shots. The Withering Touch support gem in our Eye of Winter helps us get fast boss kills with low demon form stacks. A change we made to the build, aside from reducing energy shield, is the addition of stun and freeze threshold to stop those effects. This is mandatory in Simulacrum as there are physical and cold damage types present in this map, but if you don't engage with the League mechanics, you do not need to complete any Simulacrums. When playing Simulacrum, making use of Lightning Warp is highly beneficial, as we leave shocked ground for almost 20 seconds, which also applies exposure. Lightning Warp also helps keep us safe, by moving us away from enemies, before they can act out an animation. You can also see that we are shock-proof, as in, being shocked will not kill us or spiral our loop out of control. This is wave 15, and our energy shield has not been a problem, because we have high recovery from our Flask, and we are resistant to stuns and freeze. I will go over the changes, but they have been made specifically for Simulacrum, and being more resistant to crowd control in general, although at the cost of forking fireball projectiles, but we can see it is fine without them. Our Ascendancies are still the same, utilizing Demon Form with Infernal Flame, and supplementing that with more critical damage and a 15% reduction to physical damage we take. Sapphire Jewels used to boost our energy gain, through Meta Energy or Energy Shield. Additional stun threshold is conveniently located here. We also have found a new Megalomaniac, keeping Soul Bloom as a priority, but now enjoying additional cold and lightning penetration, making it easier to swap between spells. Prism of Disbelief is best when granting a Flame Wall bonus, for this build. We also took Icebreaker to resist the freeze effect. A mixture of 3 emeralds and 5 rubies, alongside the aforementioned 2 sapphires and 2 unique jewels, totals 12 jewel slots altogether. On emeralds we focus on life flask recovery rate and flask duration. On rubies, we prefer maximum fire resistance, and if other stats are affordable, skill effect duration and damage penetration are very helpful to our build. We also take Warm the Heart, which helps us resist freeze further despite our low energy shield. With this update to the build, you will no longer be susceptible to being hounded on by a group of skeletons with added cold damage. Another change to enhance burst damage, although weakening our already superior clear speed, is elemental focus for barrier invocation, but we are still able to inflict ignite and exposure with Solar Orb, whilst also inflicting a 40% shock with exposure, using Lightning Warp. Withering Touch in our Eye of Winter is also granting up to 22% more DPS, if you have perfect rolls on each Ming's Heart to a total of 80% added chaos damage, an increase that by 50%, you gain 120% added chaos damage. Now our overall damage goes from 180% to 220%. Due to the changes in the skill tree, we had to remove some strength, and were unable to keep the bludgeon support for Solar Orb, so some supports have been moved to compensate, and keep all links full, with something beneficial in each slot. A build guide for this version has been added to the description below. Lastly, we are using the same items we always have been, prioritizing maximizing resistances, and then on the belt extra flask life recovery, movement speed on the boots, and the amulet must have at least 5 spirit, some amount of damage recoup, as well as many spell level ranks you can find. Ming's Heart and Ghost Drive allow us to reach very high demon stacks, which in Simulacrum is very important to have. The zone can last over 10 minutes across all 15 waves, which means during wave 15 you could be at about 600 stacks, so keep this in mind and make sure Recoup can recover your life total. You might notice we don't have Flask charges gained in the skill tree. It's because we have so much on our Flask. In addition to this, to ensure we can sustain our Flask forever, we must take Heavy Drinker for an extra 30% Flask duration. Thanks for watching, and take care.